Good afternoon, Stampers. This is Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. I'm jumping on here just, as always, a few minutes early to be sure that I am not too crooked, but I am pretty good today. So, today is my Thursday A to Z techniques, and this is the letter B, part 2. Last week we did bleaching, different ways you can use bleach to decorate, like for a background for your card. And so this week we're going to learn how to use baby wipes. This is such a fun technique. I'm just going to wait I still have like a minute and a half because it didn't take me too long to get pretty straight. So I'm playing with the camera now to waste time, and I shouldn't have because now I got it really crooked. There we go. Sometimes it's just like a little touch this way, a little touch that way. Voila, we're pretty straight. I'm sorry I had to postpone. I was going to be live at 1, but some things just came up and I didn't want to be hurrying because when I do that, then I make more mistakes. So I thought I will just switch it to 5 and then I will have plenty of time. If you're here and joining me, if you could say hi in the comments, that would be great. I love to see when people are watching and I can see how your day's going. It's a beautiful day here in South Central Missouri. We had some rain this morning, but then this afternoon it's been sunny and it's like 80. Finally, maybe spring is here. So we are excited about that. We are tired of the April showers that bring May flowers because we certainly are going to probably have quite a few flowers. Okay, my laptop says it's 5 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So what I did is I made up some samples just to practice, and then I made those samples into cards. So today what we're going to do is mostly just do the backgrounds with the techniques because I have, I think, 5 to show you, maybe 6. So I'm not going to take the time to make the cards again, but I'll explain to you. What I did for this one is after it dried from the baby wipe technique, I took my Versamark pad and I went all along wherever the water was, and then I embossed it with clear embossing powder so it kind of is shiny. I'm not really sure if you could see that effect on the video, but it like reflects things, so it really makes it look a lot more like water. And then I used the new online exclusive that will be available May 6th called Sunrise Sailing to make it into a sailing card. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to start with a piece of basic white paper cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And the one thing about when you use just the basic white, you do not want to rub too hard or for too long. You kind of want to be quick about it because sometimes the paper will start to pill. You'll get all these little pieces. So that's the one disadvantage of using basic white, but I think it still looks very nice, just as long as you're careful. So I'm going to get my baby wipe out here. I'm going to fix it so that I can put this little sun in there. What I did is I took 2 Post-it notes because it's easier to punch through 2 than it is to punch through 1. And I have my 1-inch punch here, and I'm just going to punch like half of the circle. Just a little bit, just enough for the sun to be peeking over the horizon. Well, maybe I got 3. Nope, I got 2. Before I didn't want to do it if I had 1, so I went to 2. I don't know why I did that. Let's see. You know, we're already starting. I do these things, I practice. They work out great. I try to show you, and things just go crazy. Last time it punched right out of there and fell on the floor. Okay, I want to be sure to get the sticky part in there so that I can stick it down to my paper. But see, now when I just go with 1, it's not wanting to do it. So let's go with 2. If this doesn't work, I'm just going to cut 1 out of cardstock. There we go. I don't know what was wrong with my first 2, but these 2 work perfect. So now I just want to kind of put this maybe close to the center, up and down, left and right, as I can. So I like to use my little grid here on the glass plate, because I know this is 5 1/4 tall, so halfway would be like 2 1/8. Or, I'm sorry, 2 5/8. So I think that looks pretty centered. I want to get it even. Okay, so that's going to be our sun, and we're going to mask it for right now. And I don't know if you all still have your soft pastels, but that's what we're going to use for our first technique, is some soft pastels. And we're going to take the Coastal Cabana, and we are just going to, I'm just trying to see which side. I think I use this side. I'm just going to put some Coastal Cabana in here. I'm kind of going left to right because I want it to maybe look kind of like waves. And then I'm going to take some of the navy blue and I'm going to work it in there. I really never knew that you could use soft pastels with the baby wipes and stuff until I started looking up what to do with baby wipes. So now on the sky part, we're going to use some, what I think is Daffodil Delight. And we're just going to put it all around this Post-it note there. Then we're going to take some crushed curry, which is a little bit darker of a yellow. And the harder you press, the darker color you're going to get. And then we're going to take some Poppy Parade, and we're just going to make Poppy Parade at the top, and then it's going to come down here and mix with the crushed curry and make us some orange. And we're just going to put a little bit of orange in the other spots too. Okay, so here comes the fun part. Let me put these away so I don't accidentally get them wet with the baby wipe. So we're just going to kind of fold our baby wipe so our hands can stay clean. And I'm going to use both sides. So the first side I'm going to use here in the water. And I'm just going to lightly go back and forth until it blends in really well. Now, if I want more Night of Navy, I can always add some more. If I want more Coastal Cabana, I could add some more of that. But I think that that's looking like a pretty good ocean. It kind of, with the light and the dark, it looks like waves. So now I'm going to take my baby wipe and I'm just going to fold it to a different area so I don't get any of the Coastal Cabana or Night of Navy up here in my sky. So I kind of have it like this, and I'm just going to do the same thing again. I'm just going to kind of go back and forth. Now see, because I have some of the yellow from the daffodil and the crushed curry, the Poppy Parade kind of changes to a nice orange color. I might have to put just a little bit more Daffodil Delight over here in this corner because it doesn't quite reach. I don't want to keep rubbing it because you know what happens then. My paper will start to peel. So, or pill, not peel. Just get these little balls in it. So, what do we think about that for the sunrise? Now, you could always add in some, somehow I did get the blue up there in the sky. So that's going to be where my sailboat is. So I'm just going to be sure that my sailboat covers that. That's what you have to be careful about. And I have no idea how I got green down here. I don't even have green anywhere. Unless some, maybe some Daffodil Delight got on the blue and made green. I'm not sure. But we could fix that too with the label. So now I'm going to take off this piece of Post-it note that I have put here to block the sun. And I'm going to take my Lemon Lolly, because I want the sun to be a very light yellow. And I'm going to take one of my blender brushes. And I'm just going to get a little bit of Lemon Lolly on there. And kind of add that in for the sun. Now what I can do is take my, let me find a clean spot on my baby wipe here. And you know, you could buy cheap baby wipes. I bought Pampers because that's just what Dollar General had. But you can buy just cheap ones, or some people say the other ones last a little bit longer, but I don't plan to keep them. You know, like some people could put this away and you could use it next time, but I'm not going to do that because I really don't think I'm going to do any more sunrises right now. So there we are. Technique number 1 for baby wipes. Using our soft pastels. I'm going to put those up there. And now I can go ahead and I can make a different card, or I can make the same sailboat card. And like I said, I can use the label to cover up the green, and I'll use a bird to cover up the blue that got up there. So that was very quick and easy. You want this to kind of lay flat because you could dry it with your heat embossing tool, but then it tends to curve up on the sides more. So I try to let it lay flat, but I did use my mono adhesive glue when I put this together just to be sure that, because it kept wanting to curl at the sides. Okay, so let's go on to idea number 2. First of all, we're going to wipe off all the color from that one. That's why I love these glass mats. You could just make a mess, wipe them off. Especially when you're doing the baby wipe technique, because you have one right there. Okay. So this is using the baby wipe as a stamp. And I used the Delightful Daisies, and I did the middles, and then I used some of the sketched butterflies to add some little butterflies to it. And this is a saying from the new Notes and Totes set. Newsflash, you're fabulous. So I want to try something different with this and stamping with it too. Actually, both ways are stamping, but I have this new set that's called Paper Tags. And see how this would look like in a rainbow color? So we shall see what happens when I try that one. I haven't tried it yet. I thought I would save it for today. So fingers crossed that it works out. But then we'll do a zinnia like I did the daisies to show you that way. So I just have this piece of scrap paper here to stamp it on when I'm done, because then I'm going to use the die to cut it out. So I'm going to get like 2 baby wipes. And this time it's going to be kind of a long thing because of this stamp. So I'm going to lay them here. I'm going to double this over. I'm going to double this one over. Now, if you had like one of our empty stamp case, the plastic ones, you could use that to put it in, but it'll lay pretty good here on the and be pretty sturdy just laying on your glass mat too. Okay, so let's decide what colors. I don't have all my colors over here. I just brought a few. So we have Blackberry Bliss. That kind of sounds pretty. And what would go with Blackberry Bliss? How about some Petal Pink for a little bit of a lighter color. And then maybe Gorgeous Grape. I think I have Gorgeous Grape over here. I do. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of lay this here so we can tell how long we need it. With these, I just kind of made a circle, but with this one, I need a long. So I'm just going to put some Gorgeous Grape here, and here, and here, and here. See if that's about wide enough. Yep, that looks pretty good. So there's some Gorgeous Grape for us. Here's some Petal Pink. And then we'll put on some Blackberry Bliss. Now you don't want too much white for this technique because you want your stamp to get, heavily saturated with it. When you're doing some other techniques with the baby wipes, you can have a little bit more white space. So I think I'm going to put a few more grapes like right here. And when you put the stamp on here, you don't want to move it like that. You just want to dab it up and down. Otherwise, you're going to muddy up your colors. And you'll end up with, like a brown instead of something pretty. I hope these colors are going to be pretty together. I think they will be. I just see another little spot over here. I'm just putting just a drop every time. Written inkers last forever. So let me get my block out here. And I'm going to put this stamp on there. I'm going to get ready to have my paper. Be sure I have this moved up so you can see it well. And I have my paper right here ready to stamp on it. And I'm going to take this and I'm just going to see how I'm just like tapping it. But I'm not going like this with it because that will cause the colors to blend up too much. So I'm just going to lay it here and be sure that I get some of the refill on there and look at it. Okay, so I can tell on this side I don't have enough. So I'm just going to take it. I'm going to try to hold this side up so I don't wipe any off. And up here at the top I need some. This is a much larger stamp than I used last time, so I just don't want to have too many white spots. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm just going to put a little bit more there. Okay, and then I'm going to huff on it, and we shall see if this shall work. I want to just leave it here for a few seconds so the refill can release from the rubber and soak into the paper. Okay. That does look pretty nice. Maybe a little bit too dark with the Blackberry Bliss, but you can see the Petal Pink and the Gorgeous Grape in there. I like it. Okay, so now we're just going to use, we're not even going to put any more drops on there and see if we can get some. You need a stamp that's like solid. And so my best solid one, besides the Daisy, is the Zinnia. And I know that, I'm pretty sure that it's gone off the last chance list now. But I didn't really have another good flower that was solid. So I'm just going to kind of do like what I did last time. I'm going to tap it up and down. I should have enough ink on here to do it a couple of times. Oh, it kind of almost looks all Blackberry Bliss, doesn't it? A little bit of Gorgeous Grape in there. That's a very light one. So let's kind of go over here a little where we can see some pink and try to pick up some more of the petal pink. So since the petal pink is kind of getting overtaken by the Gorgeous Grape and the Blackberry Bliss, I'm just going to add a little bit more petal pink over here in this corner and see if we can get some more pink in it. I could just see a little bit on each of these, but we want a little bit more. I'm going to try to stamp over this one and just see what happens. Oh, so see, that time it happened better. That's what I mean. It's just fun to play with. Now I have the petal pink, I have the Gorgeous Grape, I have the Blackberry, all in one flower. So let's just stamp a few more here. That one again came up to be almost, I guess maybe the Blackberry Bliss is a pretty dark color and the petal pink's a pretty light color. But there you go. I did it down here where I had some more petal pink showing. I'm just going to try to finish this off a little. And I will make a card with it later. But see how much fun you could have? There you go. And maybe later on I would get a butterfly or another littler stamp to fill in there. So now I'm going to wipe off these colors. But I need another baby wipe because that Blackberry Bliss is very dark. So this worked out pretty good. Now I could take it over to the die machine and cut this out and make a card with it. I kind of like the way that turned out. If I did it with lighter colors, you know, I could have did it with like Daffodil Delight and Granny Apple Green and stuff. It would be a brighter color. So I'm just going to wipe these stamps off. As long as I have my baby wipe here. So all I really did is just took my blending brush again with some balmy blue, and I just put a little bit of blue in the background to kind of tone down all the white. And this one really wasn't as solid of a stamp as I thought. It's more a line stamped, but you could still see all the different colors. The daisies really give you a good color because it's a more solid stamp. Okay, we shall move on. And I'll post a picture of what this one looks like when I get done making. I might even use this one with that background because they're all the same colors. I will have to see what I can come up with. Okay, excuse me. Let's go on to our next item. I'm going to put those stamp sets away so I don't knock them over. Put these colors away. We need new colors. This is, I don't know if you can really see this, but I swished on some ink here with the baby wipe, and then I used what I call the dry paint embossing folder to give it texture, which I'm not sure if you can really see that in the video, but in person you can tell that it's textured in the background. So let's try this one. This, I have this little scallop contour label cut out. I'm going to need baby wipe again. And so what color, I made this one to be kind of the colors that match the mushrooms because I knew I had some mushroom DSP to use up in, not mushrooms, toadstools. So that's why I did it. But what color should we go with this time? Let's go with Coastal Cabana. And let me see if I have a blue, because maybe we can make this look like water and put another sailboat on here. Hold on, let me see what blue inkers I have. I have Misty Moonlight. Oh, you know what would go better though? Pool Party would go better with Coastal Cabana. So we'll just try to make this one look like all water and put a sailboat on there. So I'm just going to put a couple of drops here. Oh, my Pool Party reader seems a little slow. Okay, so now I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to like swipe in a, like this. And I'm going to come back because it's going to get lighter every time I swipe. It's just to give it a little extra texture look and everything in the background. And then I'm going to put on some Coastal Cabana here. I just have a few drops on there. And again, I'm just going to swipe just to give it a different look. Now this is really going to want to curl because it's so small. And I think I need to put just a little bit more Coastal Cabana down here at the bottom. This is the fun. You could just add a couple more drops and rub it off here a little bit to get the most off if you don't want it to be too dark. So now we have our swishes. We have just a little bit of white. I'm trying to get all the white to be covered. That piece there doesn't want to get covered. Okay. Now we can't use our embossing folder till this dries. So we're just going to lay this one aside. But just to give you an idea how if you did swishes or different ways you move your baby wipe, you can get a different kind of picture in the background. I hope I'm putting these back on the right ones. Okay, so we'll lay this one aside to dry, and then I will do an embossing folder with it and show you what it looks like. I could have did the embossing folder first, but then it's going to pick up the ridges a lot more and everything. I just want texture. I don't really maybe want to have, you know, either the Coastal Cabana or the Pool Party would have picked up on the raised parts of the embossing folder. All right, so let's see what else I have here. Okay. This is what I had, and I use a piece of glossy paper. I'm trying to find that now. I used a piece of glossy paper for this background. I still have some over from when we used to sell it, but you can get glossy. It just smooths on so nicely on the glossy paper. And then I used a regular piece of the basic white and tried the same colors, and as you can see, it came out lighter and more even on there. It was harder to brush the lines on here. And then I didn't know what to make with it, so I cut the butterflies out of this piece and put them on that other background, and then we have a nice butterfly card to wish you a happy day. So let's get started. What color should we use this time? That's the most fun, I think, is picking out all these different colors. I could bring a lot more inkers over here, but I'm trying to go with just these few so I don't have them all over here. I'll be knocking them all over the place if I had that many. So this time I'm going to take my baby wipe and I'm going to fold it in fourths like this so that I get this ridge up here. Actually, it's better to use this ridge where it's just one piece. So let's see, we haven't used Granny Apple Green and Daffodil Delight. And this one is Melon Mambo. But maybe we want to go with a different color this time. What do you think? What other color would go good with the green and the yellow? I think I have a darker green, like maybe garden green. I don't have a Rinker for everything because sometimes it runs out. So let's try shaded. Let's try Old Olive. I also have Soft Seafoam. That would be a really light color of green. Here I thought I had over here enough variety that I would like them, but so we're going to go with Soft Seafoam, which is very light, and Granny Apple Green and Yellow. So we're first going to take some re-inker and put 4 or 5 drops down this edge. Then we're going to take our next color. My dog hears something outside. And we're going to put 4 of the yellow. And then we're going to do 4 of the Soft Seafoam. Okay. Now we raise, look how it's already bleeding down. So now we're going to take our paper like this. We kind of want to fold this up. And we want to hold this to the paper and just swipe down and make some lines. And you could go straight or you could go squiggly. You could go over it a little. Just how much ever you would like. See how nice and fast and smooth it went on the glossy paper? And it still has that glossiness. I need to wipe off my... I could have used up this whole package of baby wipes in one technique class. Okay. So there we go. We have it dry now. Now we're going to take the same piece that we had and we're going to try it on regular basic white. And see, it just doesn't smooth. It doesn't go on as smoothly because it doesn't want to glide like it does on the glossy paper, but it still comes out nice. And you can leave some white between your lines if you want to on this. I want to try to get the sides and the corners. Oh, there came a big piece of green. So let's see if we can get some more of the Soft Seafoam in there. There we go. That's looking pretty good. But see how with the basic white paper, if you get it too wet, it really wants to curl. Let me see if I can wipe up most of this. So both of those look pretty nice too. I always like the glossy one better than the white one, than the basic white. But they look pretty good. So what else do we have? Oh, we have one more. And again, I might do the same thing I did here with the butterflies. Cut maybe some flowers or leaves out of this one and put them on this one and make a card. It just depends. You just never know. You just look at it and look at it. I was trying for a day and a half to decide what to do with the other ones. And today I decided, oh, I could cut out butterflies. I'm trying to put these around where I'm not going to get them on anything. This is our last one, and we're going to try it on watercolor paper. This is a pretty fast one, too. So I wanted it to kind of look like an ombre look. So I started off up here with Gorgeous Grape. I went into Highland Heather, and then I went into Fresh Freesia. So we're just going to try that one again because I think this is the Old Olive. I love the way that one turned out. This is the Daffodil Delight. And then this is some Fresh Freesia glimmer paper behind. And these words are from, I want to say they're from Linked Together. The Enjoy and the Wishing You a Happy Day. So let's get our baby wipe back out again. Fold it up into a little square so we could try to keep, I'm not doing a good job of keeping my fingers clean, but I have this down here to hold on to, and I'm going to put some drops of Gorgeous Grape on the top here. And sometimes it's all in how you put it on the paper too. Like how I made this one look more like water because I swished it on. This one I'm going to go in circles and kind of blend it all together. So I'm just going to start here on this corner, and I'm going to kind of come off the paper and then go on to the watercolor paper. And I want to kind of maybe go like a triangle. That's my idea of thirds. And see, it's going to get lighter as I go. Okay. I probably put on too much Gorgeous Grape. But this is a little long. I did on this one too, but when I cut it to fit on the card, I cut off some of it. Okay, so the next color we're going to use, we're going to get another baby white. We're going to get the Fresh Freesia, which is back here. And we're going to do the same thing. Put some drops on there. We're going to start off the paper, and we're going to kind of come down here and swirl it. And this watercolor paper is kind of like the glossy paper. It takes the ink very well. And I think what I'm going to do for this one and the Highland Heather, because I didn't leave much room for Highland Heather, did I? Now, not so much when the Highland Heather mixes with the Gorgeous Grape, but when it mixes with the Fresh Freesia down here, it kind of gives us a fourth color. You can kind of see where those two colors combine. Then if you want to, you could take your lightest color and just go over it all just a little bit to smooth away any lines that are in there. Now, isn't that pretty? That could almost be a night scene with the sailboat. All right, looks pretty just like this. With just that and a label. Well, I hope that you enjoyed my technique class. I certainly enjoyed making these samples and then making cards with them. Because sometimes I used to do these techniques a long time ago, and then you kind of forget about them. I forgot I wanted to show you this. I think this is dry enough now. This time maybe I'll do, oh, I don't want to do a butterfly when I'm thinking about doing the sea. How about if I try the swirly one on here? That should kind of go pretty well with the C look we were looking for. I want to get it in there straight. This is not a 3D one, so it won't be as deep as the dry paint one. Have to get my layers correct here in my Stamp Emboss machine. Oh, I think you're going to like this one. Look at this one. Can you see? I'm going to see if we can see it. It doesn't show up yet on my laptop. There's a delay. Can you see that now? How it made those swirlies in there? Now it really looks like a lot more like water. Even looks pretty good on this side if we wanted to dye that side instead. But that's just some ideas to use your inkers and some baby wipes and have some fun making different colors, seeing what colors go together. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great evening. Bye.